Good day to you, dear students. Today is the 14th of July. This is our 30th lecture presented for students in the third year of the translation department. Our novel, The Return of the Native by Thomas Hardy. We are in chapter 6, The Figure Against the Sky, in book 1. Let's start with the style of Hardy's language. The style of Hardy's language in The Return of the Native, in this novel. Hardy's narrative style makes use of several kinds of imagery. This is, of course, known because we are dealing with literature. We are reading a novel. Because it is a novel, because it is a literary book, you expect to read things described in a different way. This different way is called imagery, and in literature it is called a figure of speech. Now let me continue. Several kinds of imagery, including a number of figures of speech using analogies drawn from the setting of the story. Consider such a sampling as the following. Eustacia's journey was at first as vague in direction as that of thistledown in the wind. Thistledown, it's a noun, this word is a noun. Eustacia's journey was at first as vague in direction as vague as that of thistledown in the wind. What's a thistledown? It's a very light, soft substance that contains thistle seeds and is blown from thistles by the wind. For example, the dictionary gave me this example, as light as thistledown. So it is very light. Even the dictionary gave us this example, that it is light, this analogy. So her journey was vague, in direction as that of thistledown in the wind. What does it mean? Since the course of Eustacia's journey is unclear and ambiguous, the narrator compares it to the movement of thistledown, which is adrift and aimless. Adrift and aimless. The figure of speech that the writer has used is simile, by using the tool as. When you use simile, you need as or like. In that example, he uses as. Read this example. Now this is another example. The party had marched in trail, like a traveling flock of sheep. That is to say, the strongest first, the weak and young behind. The figure, again, is simile by using the tool like. Simile is a figure that compares something to something else. The writer then compares the marching of the party, how the people, the men and women, marched in the party, in the commemoration on the rainbow, to a traveling flock of sheep. How does a flock of sheep travel? The same way the men marched. Trail, line, or chain. The writer compares, this is the explanation. The writer compares the line of the men and women in celebrating on rainbow to a flock of sheep. Why did the novelist use flock of sheep? The characters of Egdon Heath are more identified with the environmental setting than vice versa. They work according to their own occupation. In depicting Eustacia, the writer goes on using figures of speech. For example, let's see this passage. When the whole Egdon and course had left the site of the bonfire to its accustomed loneliness, a closely wrapped female figure approached the barrow from that quarter of the heath in which the little fire lay. She ascended to her old position at the top, where the red coals of the perishing fire greeted her like living eyes in the corpse of day. There she stood still, around her stretching the vast night atmosphere, whose incomplete darkness, in comparison with the total darkness of the heath below it, might have represented a venial beside a mortal sin. This is quoted from chapter 6, page 78. The remaining red coals of the extinguished bonfire glitter in a way hardly described to seem greeting Eustacia, and he compared the red coals to living eyes, using this tool. The next image in the previous paragraph is the corpse of day. The first image is the red coals. The red coals looked like two eyes greeting Eustacia, like living eyes. The next image is the corpse of day. What's a corpse? Instead of saying the end of day, the novelist says the corpse of day. Corpse means a dead body. The writer intensifies by using the word corpse of day. The writer intensifies the darkness of the scene to his readers. The time is night. But how does this night look after the perishing fire of the commemoration? Do you remember red suns in chapter 3? Contrarily, at this moment, the night is totally dark after the bonfire blaze is extinguished. Now it is totally dark because there is no fire lit. People extinguished their fires and went home, except Eustacia. Question. Let's reread the passage. When the whole Egdon and concourse had left the site of the bonfire, concourse the people, the gathering of the people of Egdon Heath. When they left the site of the bonfire to its accustomed loneliness, the heath is accustomed to loneliness. What happened? What happened next? A closely wrapped female figure approached the barrow from that quarter of the heath in which the little fire lay. She ascended to her old position at the top, where the red coals of the perishing fire greeted her like living eyes in the corpse of day. Well, till the end of the passage, the narrator, well, wait a minute. The narrator does not tell the readers the name of the character. We know she is Eustacia, but when you start reading in chapter 6, The name is not mentioned. What did he say? He says a closely wrapped female figure. What do you think is the reason? Why why the narrator did not name this wrapped female figure? The answer? To create a mysterious character for his readers. Hardy has prepared for it by hinting at mysteries in her character. So, to create a mysterious character for his readers, what did Hardy do? Hardy has prepared for it by hinting at mysteries in her character. How? In this situation, a comma after the prepositional phrase, in this situation is her appearances on Rain Barrow. She is wrapped. She is wrapped and unnamed. The narrator introduces the readers to a person who was tall and straight and built. How did she look? She looked tall and straight and built. That she was ladylike in her movements was all that could be learned of her just now. Page 78 to 79. So, was all that could be learned of her just now. I will not tell you more of this character, of this wrapped female figure. I did not name her. She is unnamed. She is tall. Pardon. She is straight and built. She walks like a lady. And that's it. No more of her. Again, to create a mysterious character. He hints at mysteries in her character without giving more details. This is from the chapter. I quote Hardy's lines. The narrator opens chapter 6 with a vague introduction to Eustacia. This is how chapter 6 has started. Well, let's see what did Eustacia do in this chapter. She ordered the boy who helped her with the bonfire, that day. Which day? The 5th of November. To keep the fire lit. Although he was weary and bored, she gave him a crooked sixpence. Why? To encourage him going on. To encourage him to go on with her, to keep the fire lit. She made a great fire, a signal fire. Page 93. Signal to whom? It is supposed to be a commemoration for the approaching winter. But for Eustacia, it is different. It is a signal fire. Hers, her fire, this is a possessive pronoun, hers is the small undying fire which had drawn the attention of the men on the Rain Barrow and of Wieldy in the valley below. So even the men on Rain Barrow who celebrated there paid attention to her great fire, undying fire. Don't you think this word is symbolic of Eustacia herself? Of the passion of Eustacia herself? Notably, Eustacia lies to the boy. In what situation? So Eustacia is a character who lies? Yes, she lies. In what situation? Let's see in what situation. She lies when she says, "And if you hear a frog jump into the pond with a flounce like a stone thrown in, be sure you run and tell me, because it is a sign of rain." Page 88. This is the lie. What is the truth? The truth is that it is not a frog who will jump into the pond with a flounce, but a stone thrown into the pond. The sound would have been likened to the fall of a stone into the water. Page 91. When Wildeave come, she laughed with triumphant pleasure. Page number 91. They are old lovers. Eustacia and Wildeave are old lovers. So now we can deduct why her fire was a signal fire, or to whom it was a signal fire. They are old lovers. Hardy writes, she let her joyous eyes rest upon him without speaking. Page number 91. But Wildeave's reply repressed her joy. What did he say when he came and met her? What did he say when he came? He said, "I have come," said the man, who was Wildeave. He told her, "You give me no peace. Why do you not leave me alone? I have seen your bonfire all the evening." All the evening, her bonfire was lit. That's why the writer said undying fire. Again, the same page. His reply undermines her feelings immediately because he puts her in an embarrassing situation, and the meeting is off. Let's write this note for you before leaving this paragraph. The undying fire of Eustacia is symbolic of Eustacia's passion. Okay, it is symbolic of Eustacia's passion. Her passion is undying. Not only because she is youthful, being youthful, later we will know that she is beautiful, and stubborn. You can say this is another figure of speech. The undying fire of Eustacia is symbolic of Eustacia's passion. Passion is the feeling that she has. Her passion is undying. Therefore, you can say her passion is undying. Not the bonfire only is undying, but this bonfire is symbolic of her own fire. And why? Because she is youthful, beautiful, and also stubborn. Pay attention, please. To what? Let's see. Pay attention to this when reading the conversation. Who? The Wildev and Eustacia. The reader will notice that it is she who brings up the stubborn of his marriage. She started talking about the subject of his marriage, not he. Eustacia lures Wildev to come to Rainbarrow. How? By lighting the fire. And for she tries to get him to confess that he loves her more than Thomason, but he did not. He did not confess. So first of all, she brings up the subject of his marriage. She started talking about this matter. Then she lures him to come to Rainbarrow by her undying fire. And also she tries to get him to confess that he loves her more than Thomason. Who's Thomason? The woman, the young woman whom he was about to be married to, but the wedding was broken off because of the license. He did not confess to her. What else? She said, if you own to me, if you confess to me, if you own to me that the wedding is broken off because you love me best. What did he answer? This is her own words. Wildev answered, I don't think it would be a good policy. Or I don't think it would be good policy, said Wildev, smiling. Page 96. Moreover, Wildev says, Thomason is a pleasing and innocent woman. What did this confession made to her, or this admission made to her? She guesses at his motives for not yet going through with the marriage. The wedding is broken off, you know. What did she guess? Because the wedding is broken off, she guesses that his motives are that he still loves her. And what else did she do? That he still loves her. What else did she do? She compares herself with Thomason. What was Wildev's reaction? Wildev, meanwhile, remains simply the critic, mildly complaining about what he calls his curse of inflammability. Page 94. Beyond words, even the gesture of showing him her face will not make him what Eustacia wants him to be. Wildev remains silent. Read chapter 6. It is an interesting chapter, and from the conversation you can deduct what I have deducted here. This is the end of the lecture, but before I leave you, I'll give you short answer questions depending on the chapters we've read. Question number 1. Who is the man first seen walking along Egdon Heath? Give me your answer on Sunday, please. Who is the woman hiding in the horse carriage? Question number 3. Who says the following? You give me no peace. Why do you not leave me alone? The other question, the fourth one. When Eustacia lures Wildev to Rainbarrow, she tries to get him to do what? When Eustacia lures Wildev to Rainbarrow, she tries him to Get him to do what? Fifth question. Who is the character first seen on Rainbow? Do you know who is the character first seen on Rainbow? I may leave you now and wish you good luck.